She said at my promotion dinner. Can we leave? I'm bored, and you're not even that important at your company. My CEO was sitting across from us. I said, of course. Then I stood up, apologized to my CEO, and drove her home in complete silence. When I returned to the restaurant alone, and my boss asked what happened, original post. 31 male, work in commercial insurance. Not glamorous, I know. Nobody's making movies about actuarial tables and policy underwriting. But I'm good at it. I've been grinding at this company for 6 years, and 3 weeks ago I got promoted to regional VP of our division. At 31, youngest person to hold that title in the firm's history. The company wanted to do a celebration dinner. Not a huge thing. My CEO, my direct boss, the SVP, 2 other senior directors and their spouses. Nice restaurant. The kind where the menu doesn't have dollar signs and you pretend you know what Pomsdorfine means. The company was picking up the tab. All I had to do was show up, be personable, and bring my girlfriend of 2 years. My girlfriend doesn't work in corporate. She's a hairstylist, which is totally fine. I've never once looked down on her career. She's talented and makes solid money. But she's always had this weird chip on her shoulder about my job. Not jealousy exactly, more like dismissiveness. Like because she doesn't understand what I do, she's decided it can't be that important. Whenever I'd talk about a big client win or a presentation that went well, she'd say something like, "That's nice, babe," in the same tone you'd use when a 5-year-old shows you a drawing. I told her about the dinner 2 weeks in advance. I told her it mattered to me. I told her the CEO would be there. I told her to please dress up. She rolled her eyes but said she'd come. Night of the dinner. She looked great. Credit where it's due. We got there, everyone was already seated. My CEO, older guy, very sharp, the kind of person who remembers every detail you've ever told him, stood up to shake my hand and congratulated me. His wife was there too, super warm, immediately started chatting with my girlfriend. First 30 minutes went fine. Appetizers came. Conversation was flowing. My boss was telling a story about when I first started and accidentally sent a policy quote to the wrong client for double the amount. Everyone laughed. Normal work dinner stuff. Then my CEO raised his glass and gave a little toast. Nothing crazy, maybe 45 seconds. He talked about how I'd grown in the company, how I'd brought in 3 of our top 10 accounts, how the board had unanimously approved my promotion. It was the best professional moment of my life. I felt like all those late nights and early mornings actually added up to something. I glanced at my girlfriend. She was on her phone, under the table but still. During the toast, I nudged her foot. She looked up, gave a tight smile, and put the phone away. Dinner continued. Main courses arrived. My CEO's wife asked my girlfriend what she did, and my girlfriend gave a 1-sentence answer and then went back to pushing her risotto around. The SVP's wife tried to engage her about a Netflix show. My girlfriend said, "I don't really watch TV," which is a lie because we literally binge-watched an entire season of a dating show last weekend. About 90 minutes in, there was a natural lull in conversation. My CEO was telling me about a potential client relationship he wanted me to lead. Mid-sentence, my girlfriend leaned over, not whispering, not even trying to be quiet, and said, "Can we leave? I'm bored. And honestly, you're not even that important at your company. This whole dinner is kind of excessive." Dead. Silence. My CEO stopped talking. His wife looked down at her plate. My boss stared at his wine glass like he was trying to teleport into it. One of the directors coughed. The moment lasted maybe 4 seconds, but it felt like 4 years. I put my napkin on the table, looked at her. She looked back at me like she'd just asked me to pass the salt. Zero awareness that she'd just detonated a bomb. Me. Of course. Let me drive you home. I stood up, buttoned my jacket, and turned to my CEO. Me. Sir, I sincerely apologize. I'll be back in 30 minutes if you're all still here. Dinner's on me tonight. My CEO, and I'll never forget this, just nodded once and said, "Take your time." The walk to the car was silent. The drive was silent. 15 minutes of nothing. She tried twice to start talking. Her. "Why are you being weird?" Silence. Her. "Oh my God, are you seriously mad?" I was just being honest. Silence. I pulled up to her apartment. Yeah, she has her own place. We don't live together, and unlocked the doors. She sat there for a second. Her. You're not coming in? Me. No. Her. So you're choosing work people over me? Me. Good night. She got out, slammed the door hard enough to rock my car, and went inside. I sat in the parking lot for about 2 minutes, just breathing. Then I drove back to the restaurant. When I walked back in, everyone was still there. They'd ordered another round of drinks. My boss saw me first and stood up. My boss. You good? Me. I'm good. I'm sorry about that. That was completely unacceptable and I'm embarrassed. My CEO waved his hand. Sit down. We've all been there. My first wife told a client I was boring at a company golf outing in 1994. I married better the second time. His current wife laughed and said, Damn right you did. The table loosened up. We stayed another hour and a half. It actually turned into one of the best conversations I've had with leadership. Honest, unguarded. My CEO told me point blank that he saw me as future C-suite material and that the way I handled the situation told him more about my character than any quarterly review ever had. I drove home that night feeling two completely different things at once, proud of how I handled the professional side and heartbroken about what it meant for the personal side. Update 1 5 days later.
So I didn't call her that night.
Or the next day. She didn't call me either, which told me everything I needed to know. She didn't think she'd done anything wrong. Sunday morning, 2 days after the dinner, she finally texted. Her. Are you going to keep pouting or are we going to talk like adults? I didn't respond immediately. Went to the gym, had breakfast, thought about what I actually wanted to say. Around noon I replied. Me. I think we should talk in person. I can come by around 3. Her. Fine. I got to her apartment at 3. She opened the door in sweats, arms crossed, full attitude already loaded. Her. So, are you done with the silent treatment? Me. I want to break up. I said it that plainly because I'd spent 2 days thinking about it and I didn't see any version of this where I explained the problem and she actually got it. Her. What? Over a stupid dinner? Me. You humiliated me in front of the most important people in my career. My CEO was mid-sentence. Everyone at that table is someone who influences my future. And you said I wasn't important. Out loud. In front of all of them. Her. I was bored. I sat there for 2 hours listening to insurance talk. Do you know how painful that was? Me. Yes. I asked you to do one thing for me. One evening. And you couldn't do it. Her. Because it was boring. And it excessive. You got a promotion, not a Nobel Prize. They were acting like you cured cancer. That line right there. Not a Nobel Prize. That's when I knew this wasn't about one bad night. This was how she saw me. My work, my ambition, my achievements. She thought they were small. She'd always thought they were small. Me. We're done. I wish you well. Her. You're not serious. Me. I am. Her. Over one comment? Me. It wasn't one comment. It was 2 years of comments. This was just the first one other people heard. I left. She didn't follow me out, which surprised me. I figured the explosion would come later. I was right. Monday night, I got a call from her older brother. He and I used to get along. We'd watch football together sometimes when I was over at family stuff. He opened with, her brother. Hey man, what happened? She's over here crying saying you dumped her out of nowhere. Me. It wasn't out of nowhere. She said something disrespectful at a work dinner in front of my CEO and I ended it. Her brother. What did she say? I told him, word for word. Long pause. Her brother. Yeah, that's bad.
But come on, man.
She's not great in those kinds of settings. You knew that. Me.